We are live, guys. Okay. This is an amazing day because Sandy out of nowhere got a lot of great news. But before we proceed, I just want to give a short introduction. And I was always confused to introduce Sandy. Sometimes I think she's like a multiple avatar, right? Um, so she handles Unstoppable. She writes a lot of articles for Forbes. She attends all the crypto events. She looks after the family. Oh my God, Sandy, you are an inspiration. And I haven't mentioned certain books, right? I only go and quietly buy those. Okay. And so she has a very interesting news to share. So let's give the mic to her. And also a short introduction, Sandy, because a lot of people want to know you.
Yeah, so Yog, thank you so much for that super kind introduction. I am the COO of a company called Unstoppable Domains. We are a digital identity platform. In fact, we partnered with Yog and his amazing team to release a TLD or top level domain. It's a naming system that we eventually would like to take to ICANN as well. So, and Yog and I have some brand new news today. Shall I go
Yeah.
ahead and share it?
Yes, please, Sandy. It's
Okay.
all yours now.
Okay. Okay. So because we want to have the naming service for FarmScent to be both a blockchain domain and a DNS domain, or one that resolves like .com, we had selected, we thought, supersmart.farms, which is a great TLD. But ICANN, who controls DNS, just came down and said they're not going to allow plurals in this next ICANN application process. And there's already a .farm. So even though Yoke has already sold so many .farms with an S, we wouldn't be able to take it forward to ICANN, which would eliminate a lot of value for all of our users that we know about. And so what we decided to do, you can see even on this particular page, it says let's grow. Yog ends his telegrams with "Let's grow." He in his calls, he starts out with "Sandy, let's grow," and so we decided to do grow. So
Yeah.
today, if you already own a dot farms, automatically you'll be given the same name with dot grow. So like if you had Yog dot farms, now you'll have in your wallet or your Unstoppable account Yog dot grow. You'll be able to still keep the dot farms. Unfortunately, it just won't work because it won't have utility, but it's there for you to keep forever. But now Yog.grow will be the new naming service as we move forward. So I think this is a big piece of new news that just happened. If you already own one, check your wallet right now. You can see it. I just checked mine, and you can see I've already got this Sandy.grow right here. So that's what we're doing.
Let's grow. I must say that first.
Let's
But
grow. Let's grow. That's right.
for a lot of people, they're thinking, why are we talking about top level domains, right? Um, Behind the scene, you have to recognize that we are onboarding some of not so tech savvy humans to our platform, right? They are our farmers, and they are actually ensuring our food security. But one of the issues we faced in Web3 user experience is that copying and pasting wallet, right? And that's so complex for them. And and so many times I have tested them, they would mix the 0x or they would miss the last part of the wallet. So every time they send me wallet, it would be different. And I would be checking that first before sending any funds. And I would find that's not your wallet address, you know. So the thought came that we need to somehow give them one top level domain, and that will be mapped to the wallet address to eliminate all the issues we have with regard to like remembering wallets. It should be so easy to send funds or receive funds. So that was one of the thought process. But then eventually this is going to be a digital identity, which Sandy can actually explain why digital identities are required for the people who are not too familiar in the audience. Would probably, yeah, Sandy, over to you. please explain how this will benefit a common man.
Yeah, so the really cool thing is that if you have, let's say, yog.grow, as Yog explained, will enable you to use that to purchase anything in crypto or leverage it to transact. We do 30 million transactions every week where someone takes yog.grow and resolves it with their wallet address and vice versa. Not just Yog. Yog doesn't do 30 million himself, but that's a great example.
I
But you can,
wish.
I wish, right? Yeah. But you can also use yog.grow to be your gamer tag. I'm a big gamer. I do a lot of blockchain games. You can use it with Atari, with Snook, with any like Metropolis, etc. You could use it there to sign into the game as well as to use it for the leaderboard. Because when you're on that leaderboard, you want your name there. You don't want your blockchain wallet address. You can also use it for chat. So in our ud.me profile page, you can also use it to chat to others. Anybody who owns a .grow can chat in an encrypted fashion with each other. Yo could give you guys discounts, could give you guys OG news, could share things, could ask you for your feedback, and all of that occurs in that messaging profile that now exists around .grow as well. So there, I could go on and on and on, although I know you have all these other amazing guests to talk to too. But it has so many superpowers for you. So if you don't own a dot farms, and you want to go get your dot grow today, it's available off, and I'll post it. Is there a good place I can post it to where people can grab it?
Yeah, you can just tweet, and
Okay.
our team will grab that and share it.
Okay. Okay, great. So you can go grab your dot grow today. So I'll show you how to do that. And then you can also go and leverage that, use it, get it set up. If you have any questions or any issues, you can reach out to myself or reach out to our support team. They're always available to help you guys out in any way possible. I think the really cool thing here is that, if you're a farmer and you want to get paid instantly using a crypto account like a yog.grow or sandy.grow or daniel.grow, john.grow, that will enable you to receive crypto immediately versus waiting for those net 90, net 120 days that you normally wait. It just makes it so much easier. So hats off to Yog for thinking about a really great way to do this and to reward all the farmers out there, which all of us are indebted to for the great food that we get every single day.
Thank you so much. Actually, you facilitated everything. I must say that it was so easy to work with you and your team. And then when we asked our farmers to test with dot farms, actually, right, before we moved to dot grow, they were so happy. So like that's it. So this is easy. It's just like I'm putting an email, but there are a lot of gaps still. Not a lot of wallets are compatible with centralized exchanges are still, integrating this. But good news, you gave a couple of weeks back, or maybe last week. Things in crypto go so fast. Phantom Wallet is now supporting unstoppable domains, right?
Yes, that's right. Phantom has always supported Unstoppable, but recently they add support for our base domain. So now we're minting on Solana, we're minting on Base, we're minting on Ethereum, we're
Beautiful.
minting on Polygon. So they just added support for Base, and next will be support for Solana. We also just recently announced that MetaMask as well, with their new Snap system, is also now resolving Unstoppable domains, along with a ton of other wallets that are out there.
That is beautiful. I think this is going to be almost mandatory. This is what I tweeted. Like, um, I think the complexities of send me in this chain, it need to be ERC20. Our farmers asked ERC20 or ETH. I'm like, okay, I got to, I got to expand that, right? So right now they can just put all the wallet addresses, right? Solana, Bitcoin, anything, and I just have to send into one TLD. So that just makes it easier. So people who are joining us in the space in the broadcast, so take a note that this is actually um, very early days of domain booking, how we were in that stage or creating our email accounts. That's what we are doing with Web3 domain, but eventually this is going to be big. Okay. So thank you, Sandy. Now we will move to our guests, and we have a very interesting topic today to actually go and make our hands a bit dirty on deep in mining opportunities. But before that, let's just get a round of introduction to all our guests, and let's crank it up, guys. Alex and Nikolai, please, you are representing. Crank and Milan supposed to come, but you guys are equally best. So please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I'm Alexander. This is Nikolai. We are part of Crank's marketing team. And apologies to everyone that Milan couldn't be here with all of you today. He has some personal reasons, and the connection where he's going is not that good. So anyway, yeah.
So I guess for the ones that are not familiar with Crank, we are an IoT LoRaWAN network. We use single board computers to run the Crank software and basically provide IoT coverage. Then yeah, quite few mining opportunities around Crank as a project.
Yes,
And I must thank Crank team, and we had a lot of discussion with Milan. And my personal opinion on multi-mining opportunities is that people may not find it convenient to have individual hardware. I'm not seeing that you are going to put in your car dashboard a NATIX or a map matrix and the Hive mapper, right? So eventually we need to find the balance of having any hardware we like that should supply data to any project that are ready to consume, right? So Crank has taken a step towards that of multi-mining opportunities with their Crank OS, which we will go sometimes in details. Let's hear from Daniel Influx. You guys are making quite a name now, so please give an introduction.
Absolutely. I am Daniel Keller. I'm the CEO of Influx, a co-founder of Flux. Flux is the world's largest decentralized compute network. We've got 13,000 plus decentralized administrators all over the world. We're in about 82 different countries. We host about 24,000 plus applications currently. We also have products such as, if it's front ends, back ends, game servers, whatever AI, it runs on Flux currently. And it's really super hard in the DePIN space to talk about how you're decentralized. And if your back end infrastructure running on AWS and AWS goes down, you're not decentralized. And Flux really honestly is able to enable projects to build in a more decentralized fashion from top to bottom. So instead of planning like to retrofit back to decentralization, you can do it at the outset.
Beautiful. You already have received a lot of traction. This is one of my favorite part because often deep ins are struggling with the demand side, right? Because when we start, we just focus on supply, people are onboarded, and after that, where the demand comes from. So how did you handle that?
Well, you actually stated about the use case that you have people that are currently utilizing Web 2, and if they move to Web 3, it needs to be a seamless process. So we're an 8-year-old project. We just recently released our AI piece, and we've been building methodically and slowly to create a user interface that isn't Web 2.5, it's Web 3. Whether you're using AWS or you're using Flux, it feels the same. Anything you can do on AWS, you can do it on Flux. And even some things that you can't do on AWS, you can do on Flux. But the big thing for us is, honestly, I don't think any project in the blockchain or DePIN space right now will be successful long-term unless they create economic income models. And most projects, what they do is build superior technology, then they turn around and they try to monetize it. Well, guess what? That doesn't work like that. So we took a more holistic approach. The majority of the people that are on the Flux ecosystem are already business leaders or technologists at heart. So they already understand the business demand side of it and what that means to the adoption level. So for us, we created solutions that people can actually use today, and we can generate revenue off of it. And I can tell you this, we have no shortage of people that are coming to the platform. And as a matter of fact, Fortune 100 companies are already launching MVPs on Flux. And why is that? It's because we built a better mousetrap. That's what it comes down to. We built this platform so anyone can use it. Every single person in this call, anyone listening can utilize Flux today to make their projects a little bit more decentralized. Uh, and ultimately, the big thing is costivity. Compared to the box retailers out there, we're pennies on the dollar. So, make it bigger, faster, stronger, and more affordable. But you have to build in the ability to make money as you're growing. Because if you don't do that, if you don't monetize it as you grow and understand what that direction looks like, a 1 year, 3 year plan, um, you're not going to be successful as a project because eventually your foundational funds will run out. Another project will have already figured out how to monetize it and deploy. So it really, it needs to be. We lack senior leadership in the blockchain space. People that understand business metrics as well as technology metrics. So surround yourself in your projects with people that understand decentralized and Web 2 to allow you to really kind of make a natural gravitation away from centralized to more decentralized.
So beautifully put. Actually, this is something I wanted all the builders to hear. And you know, while you are thinking about innovation, certain components are core components, and it need to be constant based on certain values. And so, thank you, Daniel. That this is awesome. And I have already asked the team to record it, so I'll keep playing as well to learn from it and implement. That's so important. Astrid, you guys have decided to make a holistic ecosystem, so tell us about U2U, and it has got a bit of attraction now. So yeah, so just give an introduction. And our favorite mama bear always keeps an eye on us.
Yeah, thank you. I'm from the Union Network, and we are the leading layer one for DePIN. And everyone knows DePIN is a short abbreviation of decentralized physical infrastructure network already. But like 2 years ago, not many one can kind of think about this word. Like it's a very new term generated from Messari, the head of research from Messari, also the co-founder. And yeah, they also our strategic partner and have the report for the top DePIN projects on Messari as their research. And UG Network, we launched our PGE last year in December, and right now pushing the hard work for the TVL growth and also the app in ecosystem since the mainnet token already out there in the circulation. Um, so among the leading blockchain network enabling DePIN adoption networks stand out as a layer one blockchain designed to support the real decentralized infrastructure. And by combining by the high scalability by the subnet technology with the security and efficiency, UT network provides the ideal foundation for the DePIN projects, allowing the seamless integration between the hardware mining devices and blockchain technology. And I would say that we also sell the U phone as a DePIN phone. We already sell limited 500 first phones in our local market. And later on, we will sell to the global market with more than
And what does it do?
the G phone is similar
Yeah,
to Solana and Tone phone. It will have the app of our ecosystem on it, and it can give people the monetary value if they keep using the apps. Like yeah, mm,
what does it have any mining opportunity in there,
yeah,
or
the
it
mining
just is
from our the app like flagship product, decentralized VPN phone due to VPN. Yeah,
beautiful?
it is powered by our subnet technology, subnet DPN, decentralized private network. And yeah, officially launched your phone last year already. Even before the mainnet taken. It's a groundbreaking breaking Web3 smartphone that is more than just a mobile device. It is a
Just
fully
one
integrated.
second. Just one second. Sandy need to go because she's actually going to make a lot of work for .grow. So thank you so much, Sandy, and thank you for your presence. It's always amazing talking to you, and we will get you hopefully sometime and listen to more deep in stories from you. Okay, Sandy?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Take
And
care.
go,
Bye
Mama Bear. Go. Happy International Women's Day. Thank
bye.
you, Alex,
She's my
Nicole,
fave.
Daniel. What? She's what?
She's my favorite. She always comes.
Oh, awesome. Thank you guys. Thanks,
Always
John.
keeps
I'll
an
talk
eye
to
on
you.
us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Astrid. Sorry. Go about it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're talking about phone, right? So we co-produce it with our top investor, JDI Ventures. JDI Venture has like allocated more than 20 million for the hardware production and was about the DePIN products. So yeah, we co-produce it together and happily distribute it for like all the user in YouTube network ecosystem and also like extra because our standard is EVM compatible, so it's very easy to be integrated with many custody or non-custodial wallets. Yep.
We will ask you some of these projects, but while you are thinking, let me first hear from John. John, you've been waiting for some time, so take the mic. Please give a very good introduction.
Yeah, my name is John. I'm the founder of 3DOS, and we're building the world's largest decentralized manufacturing network, starting with 3D printing. Now, we're actually a decade-old company. We started with 3D printing operating system or 3D printer management, which we're number one at. And the idea was how to reduce the latency between I have a design and I want to get it manufactured. And how do we bring this latency down close to zero as possible? So we started in local area networks like MIT, Harvard, John Deere, Google, all the top universities, and they had 3D printers sitting idle, like smaller ones of what I had. And if you wanted to print, you had to go to somebody, and you had to know how to operate it. So we made a agnostic web platform where anyone can remotely upload a design, see it visually, and get it printed. Now, that worked very well in the localized area. But the dream was, how do I then click this, for example, like I want to sell this iPhone case. How do I start to sell this iPhone case in seconds globally? And if it's not manufactured, if it's not purchased, not manufactured, right? So 3DOS, we started to onboard our existing users. We've had explosive growth in the last 12 days, another 500,000 users. Even our Twitter
Wow.
followers were from 3,000 to I think 120,000, almost hitting today. So it looks like people are looking for real products, goods, and services. I think that's kind of the future of DePIN and blockchain. And if you look at the underpinning of money, if you don't make stuff, there's no money, right? So I think bringing on real world problems on the blockchain, distributed, automating that coordination layer, I think is one of the really big upsides to DePIN when it's applied correctly, and having supply and demand, of course, right? And if you can be in the middle of that, you're basically like an Uber for manufacturing or decentralized, Amazon. Some are saying so that's our goal, to start with 3D printing, like Amazon started with books. Anyone can start uploading and selling merchandise or critical mission parts globally. And we've just started that mission, and we're looking forward to building the largest network in the world.
And in terms of supply chain, are you available in multiple locations to serve the market, or how's the scenario now?
Yeah. We have 3D printers in over 120 countries.
Wow.
So and we'll have a lot more, and ultimately we'll open it up beyond 3D printing, CNC, water jet. We're actually
Beautiful.
getting requests for human resources, like I have a design idea, but I need a CAD designer. So bringing all that supply and demand of talent and machinery is our first priority.
Beautiful. And for 3D, for deep in projects, it's always a challenge also to make your product, see the daylight, right? And one of the issue is the design part, and you obviously can help them as well, right?
Yeah, so design the learning curve for design is getting smaller and smaller. The tools are getting easier and easier. So,
Mm.
and with AI, what I've seen recently in the last few weeks, is you can actually type in what you want, AI can create the actual CAD file. So the learning curve is going down. There's more people that can, there's a lower cost and more people that can do CAD files than probably write C++, right? So it's not as hard. You know, if I want to design something, I could pay someone on Fiverr like $10, $20, $30, $150 max to get a design done. And if you have 1 million followers or millions of followers, now you can start selling stuff to those followers without any inventory upfront costs, right? That's never existed before. Up till now, you need to buy a lot of inventory. You know, is it the red iPhone case, the blue one? You don't know which one's going to sell, right? So this democratizes manufacturing. You kind of see the mega trends with even like TikTok. You know, they get eyeballs, and now there's TikTok shopping. But everything on TikTok shopping is usually sourced from Alibaba, right? In one centralized location. So our goal is to start with 3D printing, decentralize it, give freedom to the designer to sell with no limits, and all the idle capacity sitting at home, you can plug it in and start to make money printing for other people.
Beautiful. I'm just clouded with so much of use cases. Okay, so I'm sure we will ask you more question on that. Um, I will take this question first to Crank team. Okay, and it's very specific because um, I'm looking at a lot of projects that can give deep in mining opportunities. You know, to focus on the supply side because right now, luckily, as Daniel was mentioning, the demand is started coming to the market. It's not like before where there was a struggle for demand, right? Right now the awareness is there, and if you are blurring the line between the Web 2 and Web 3, and you are addressing the Web 2.5 crowd, then you are getting the demand. And same with what John was saying, that they already have demand, and hence they are in 120 countries, right? So let's look at the supply side and how our users can take part. Okay, so we can list down either opportunities in your own ecosystem, which I think Astrid, Crank, and Daniel can highlight more, or it could be like completely project you heard and you are a fan of them, you can highlight, right? Some of my personal best is SkyX, for example, right? And they're mining weather data, and it is so good for our farmers. Why I think so? I think that the farmers can multi-mine a lot of project, right? And when I told our farmers that, hey, you know, instead of only mining farm cent token, you can actually mine a weather station token like SkyX or WeatherXM, for example, right? And they were super excited with the same hardware. If I can get this or a combination of hardware, and once we set it up for them, and if they receive you know, a bit of a dollars from other projects, you know, that just makes their income into a level we cannot think sitting here. Because in some of these developing world, earning $100 or $200 a month from these DePIN opportunities are actually really great for them, you know, and that adds a lot of value. And that's where Crank comes up with a lot of solutions which are multi-mining. And would you like to take that forward, Alex and Nikolai?
Yes, we can definitely. I remember last time on the X Space with Milan, you were talking about him to send you some gateways so that you can multi-mine as well. So you can mine several projects as well. And we can definitely talk with our guy for the multi-mining that implements every project. And he's currently implementing some other, and his goal is to add maybe 20 more by the end of the year. We now have 20 plus, I think, even. And 4 or 3 in beta branch, coming to alpha branch, and we can definitely implement. I believe we can implement FarmSend for the multi-mining. Maybe Nikki, you can add something for that.
So for sure, I mean, obviously this is a little bit more technical side of things. So you guys should kind of bring that on a, you know, on a personal talk and see how it can work. But from what we can see already, like a lot of DePIN projects are actually compatible with Crank software. Excuse me. And as you mentioned, like having only one device that allows you to actually connect different projects in general to use the same gateway and provide the same data to just different projects that have a use of it, and then being able to profit from it. It is something new and unique. And then again, I mean, obviously, it does depend on the gateway that you have and the basic support that it has and the hardware of it. And obviously, different gateways can support different amount of projects. But for sure, I believe it can happen. But then again, it's a little more technical for us to say if it's a green light or no.
It doesn't have to be a strong GPU. Raspberry Pi is more than enough. And afterwards, we create all the guides, and it's normally in just a few simple steps. And then, bam, you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 projects in one gateway that you can mine. And if you have even 2 gateways or more, even more.
For the users that are wondering what Crank is trying to do, is Crank has an operating system called Crank OS. Okay, and that operating system is compatible with Raspberry Pi kind of hardware, right? Once it resides there, that actually is working almost equivalent to how you have purchased a hardware from any project, right? So that way, it gives you opportunity to play a role in multiple projects. So for a project like FarmScent, what we are trying to achieve is to speak to so many projects that are almost using the same data from the farmer's location and trying to build a device that gives an opportunity for farmers to earn multiple tokens. So that's the thing. Um, Daniel, do you have any personal favorite DePIN projects that are very hardware based and you want our users to take a look at? If there is conflict of interest, you can skip.
Well, I'm not going to be popular on this call, but we go back to the beginning of blockchain, and we believe if it wasn't built on proof of work, that it's not decentralized. And I know I'm not making any friends by saying that, but the factuality of it is whether you're built on Solana or Ethereum or other platforms like that, they have an air of centralization. So what we did is we took Satoshi Nakamoto's greatest quandary, which is what do we do with existing extra compute resources that isn't transactional validation and consensus mechanism. And we developed proof of useful work, which allows you to mine any crypto that you want, any crypto, anytime, anywhere, and you're able to still participate in a useful work model. So you're mining Flux. All of a sudden, we get 2 or 3 useful work jobs coming in. Maybe one's rendering, one's AI, one's general compute, right? They would leave those networks. They go up, they finish up what they need to do, and then they come back to those networks. So what that does is it reduces that footprint of that unneeded and unnecessary compute resources. We did that because we used the best features of Bitcoin, which was the security and the decentralized, although some people argue that decentralized Bitcoin's a bit centralized with their ASIC mining. Flux doesn't have that problem. We're a Bitcoin fork. We're ASIC resistant, so you can't run ASICs on there. We created Flux Core, which is that piece that ties proof of useful work together. And then we created Flux Edge on top of that, which is the enterprise network. So there are projects out there that are, mining projects, but they're not necessarily mining the way that we envision it. The way I envision it is it's at the baser level. It's at your layer 1. And then you can build your layer 2s, everything all day long on top of it. But we give the functionality to the folks who are already maybe pre-existing, and they want to, let's take for instance, a Solana blockchain. They want to decentralize their project. They deploy nodes on Flux. It allows them to be more decentralized, allows their node network, which is 50% of their consensus model, to run on an open source decentralized platform. Some of the DePINs that I really like today, you obviously have Flux, you obviously have like a Cadena that's doing RWAs and DePIN on top of that. I like those guys. Telesta is another one that's creating a social media platform that's built specifically around DePIN. And I like the Crank guys too, because I've looked at some of the stuff
They
they're
are on
doing.
Cadena too, right, Crank?
Hmm. Yeah, I know these guys. So, and we like to support these ecosystems at the very baser level, but make no mistake, I think you need to think about it holistically. We build DPINs so that you're not constrained by an entry level barrier. So if you're buying infrastructure, ASIC miners or, pre-configured miners I love the Crank guys because they use Raspberry Pis, right? That's simple. It's cheap. Anybody
As
can get
simple
it.
as that, yeah.
Uh,
Anybody can get it,
we
yeah, exactly.
we have an entire network of Raspberry Pis on our network that people utilize, and they're great for what we need them to use for. Can't run enterprise necessarily, like the high level enterprise. You need our node network for that, but definitely. So I think what you're going to see is this all of a sudden merger where these DPIN projects are starting to merge together to provide additional resources, because we could use somebody like Crank on our network as well for overflow. So hypothetically saying, if we run out of Raspberry Pis and we needed more infrastructure, we could work with somebody like Crank, who may not have that in their roadmap today, but could, and they could deploy on Flux as well. And now all of a sudden you have two networks that are working symbiotically together. And I think interchain operability in DPIN is what sends us to the Holy Land. Everybody that's out there saying they have the biggest, the baddest, the best, where's your infrastructure running? Because if it's running on AWS or Microsoft or Google, it is not decentralized. So we need to all think about that. So tons of opportunities, tons of really cool DPIN projects out there that are being built out. But let's not go the way of NFTs and meme coins and shit like that. Don't add DPIN to your title if you're not truly anticipating on developing the DPIN.
Daniel, you said that is unpopular. No, but it is actually popular opinion right now because
I know. Well, what do we have to have different conversations in this space for us all to become better. That's the ultimate goal. And it's not all ponies and unicorns and stars and clouds. Sometimes you got to talk about difficult shit. And I love being the antagonist in the way that I like people to. You'll leave this call today, everybody that's here and everybody that's listening, and they're going to think a little deeper about what they expect from their DPINs. And that's what we should all be doing.
awesome. I will take the conversation forward and try to share some of the project that I'm actually personally a fan of. Okay. Um, my first on list will be Weiru. Okay. Um, let me get Weiru if I can share. So the users can easily find where are you, Weiru? Sorry guys, I will just try to get Weiru guys in this. Okay, for some reason I'm unable to. So visit Weiru.io and you will find like it's so easy to get the Wi-Fi miner, just two devices, indoor and outdoor, very affordable. How much this costs? Probably a few $100, some $120. Okay, and anyone can just get the device, and and you get the reward from them, right? Another one which is really doing a lot of work is Dabba Network. Okay, that is doing amazing work in India. Okay, but I just want to show you. This so easy way to very clean, easy to buy, and easy to deploy. Some of the friends they have deployed it in Peak in Solana, and they're absolutely happy. So, and these guys are good also. So yeah, um, take a look at them. And Dabba Network, I was saying, is one of my personal favorite as well. They've been doing great work, and I want to just share. They also have created it very easy, um, easy to buy. How much does it cost? $200. Yeah, $299. So yeah, it's not complex. this is completely managed, so you don't have to do anything. You are actually investing in there. As always, no financial advice, but do your own calculation. But this is adding a value of hotspots in areas that is really not having great connections, and especially places like in India, in Southeast Asia. This is a great opportunity. I'm also exploring if we can take these guys and implement something in Indonesia, which is Astrid very close to it and knows Southeast Asia very well. So some of these projects can be. And then we have a partner network, Map Metrics. They are also hardware based. Okay. They have a peak limited edition, very good looking actually. Um, I don't know if they are already working with other network, but very peak oriented, EVM compatible, lot easier, and good guys. We are working with them. We are taking our map. We are using actually their map APIs to create field boundaries for our farmers. Amazing device. I have used it personally, so yeah, this is one of the easiest way to operate. So similarly, what do you see some of the project that you think are easier for people to participate, Astrid, especially because you are handling a ecosystem. So what do you see where it is moving towards?
Sorry. I think the trend toward multifunctional mining gadgets is um, likely to gain the momentum, of course, because like we now have the greatest source of advice of device compared to last several years. Uh, I can say that let's imagine Meta from Facebook has failed many times on even though they have some Oculus or like other devices, but now I think the metaverse and other trend also has more devices and the hardware produced. So especially within the DePIN mining ecosystem. And here I think are several key points that explain why. The multi-functional devices can perform various tasks such as data processing, network communication, and environmental monitoring all one in the unit. And this integration enables the miners to optimize the use of hardware resources, leading to improve the energy efficiency and reduce the operational costs. We ourselves also have the node cell and we run the node, Edge node, and yeah, with
What
the
is the requirement for of your node?
um, two things: the mining for our U2 DPN app, the apps that the decentralized VPN as the we create the decentralized marketplace for the idle power from the devices from smartphone, and and you can transfer the Wi-Fi and mobile data onto that marketplace. So that's the
Mhm.
one thing. The second thing is our node. Um, the Edge node and the yeah verified nodes, so that people can run and earn from it. So two things. But like another thing I mentioned earlier is our UFO, and to make it general, with one device handling multiple functions, miners can capture the rewards from the several aspects of the network simultaneously. And yeah, last but not least, as the DePIN ecosystem evolves, multifunctional devices offer the flexibility to adapt to the new protocols or changes in the network environments, network requirements without needing to replace the hardware entirely. So with a
Yeah,
fewer devices to manage, there is less potential for hardware failure across the network. And this streamlined maintenance process minimize the downtime and improves the overall ability. That's what I think.
beautiful. Um, for someone who wants to get involved, what is the what are the steps? Like, would they be just jumping into your website and directly buy something, or there is a requirement for them to get their own hardware and they install something? Is it complicated for a normal person
No,
who's
no, no.
not too tech
It's
savvy?
not complicated at all. Especially with our U2 DPN app, they can just search for U2 DPN powered by UTU Labs on both iOS or like Android store, the Google Play or like the Apple Store. Then they just download and just whenever they have the Wi-Fi or mobile data, they just click with one click, then that you become the mobility nodes and contribute to the network of the mobility nodes, like millions of the nodes like that, and there's no single point of failure. Another thing is the node. We already sold out 1,000 and now 2,000 nodes for only like 5 hours of node sales, Wipeout. So people can use that as the NFT and to have the staking rewards from it. Yeah, investing in these nodes makes you become more techy, understand the technical standard, because like you also need to understand how like a little bit about the server work, and also like earn the monetary value from it.
Awesome. We would be taking these some of the links and share, because there are a lot of users. I'm just getting flood of questions, okay, and we will share so that they can participate. But this is a very specific question to someone who's a big fan of 3DOS. And John, please take this question.
Yeah, I'll combine a few questions in the theme here. One of the questions I always get is, when's TGE? I think someone said, when is the listing? And the other question was, who's behind 3DOS? Now, I think it's very important, and this is very unusual for blockchain in DePIN projects. But number one question is, where does the money come from, right? If the money comes from speculators, you don't have a viable DePIN project. And I know I'm going to be very harsh on that side. So you can sell as many routers and widgets as possible, but if the money is your speculators, then that's the revenue, right? So also, when it's TG, people ask this, the question shouldn't be when it's TG, anyone can launch a coin. It's when do you actually accrue revenue into your token? So it's not just your speculators that are making money, right? So I come from a Web 2 background, and regarding who's backing this project, I didn't know what DePIN was like 3 years ago. We were starting, and they invited me to Stanford to talk, and it was Hivemapper, Demo, I think Helium, and some of our backers like Anatoly, the founder of Solana, Stanford Blockchain founders. We've got some really good investors and angel investors. Alchemist Accelerator, the top IoT accelerator here in Silicon Valley. But I think the key thing is not when's TGE, it's when do your metrics align that you have a sustainable business model. And so when you launch, you have something that looks like Amazon stock, right? It looks up and to the right. And the only way you can do that is if you're accruing revenue. So if we, give you an example, we've been doing millions of dollars on a Web 2 product as a SaaS solution. And the idea is it's unlimited transactions. Now we're going to move to a transactional system. I mean, last year we did over 1 million parts globally on the SaaS solution on these intranets. So, even if I sell this iPhone case or something more high end, that's $100. That's between, 10 to $100 million a year in revenue, right? We're going to take that, it's going to buy back the tokens. Even if there's zero speculators, your tokenomics should look like such a way that you're accruing value. Because again, anything of value to society has to be backed by real products, goods, and services. Like Elon Musk said, if you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If a guy's not actually making corn, there can't be a guy trading corn, right? And I think the blockchain is supposed to free the people that are under suppression of monetary policy, right? So how do you preserve the wealth of the people that actually are productive in society? That's the core DNA of 3DOS. So we're backed by really good investors, really good team, experienced team. We're on Sui blockchain, which is here close to me in Silicon Valley. And I really like what Evan and the team are doing. It requires no knowledge to log into your wallet, right? We use Sui ZK login. Anyone that has an email, Facebook, Gmail account, in milliseconds, they can just click and they're in. So that creates a wallet. So if you look at the onboarding process at Amazon, it's very long. If you want to sell on Amazon today, it's going to take you a few weeks, interviews, create bank accounts. You do that in split seconds when you log in with your email and you can upload a design. So I think it's very important when you're looking at a DePIN project is, cost of acquisition for the DePIN project. So if the cost of acquisition are the limiting factors, I have to buy so many of these widgets. So in our case, we're very lucky because we built an operating system that connects all these printers from over 10 years ago. So we don't have hardware. So one is add your printer online and get points. And now we're measuring those points to understand exactly what the tokenomics is. Because if you launch a token with the wrong tokenomics, you're going to get this, right? 100%. You should be having people demanding. So right now we have people, I get tons of orders every day, and we're kind of semi-manually routing them. We're going to automate that. We'll bring on payment rails. So it's very important to understand.
Just one quick question,
Yeah.
John. How do you compensate the guy who's adding his printer, for example?
Yeah, so there's a few ways we compensate people, and I'll give you the grand plan and kind of how we're stepping. So first was we had incentives for my existing users, those that want to share their capacity to come on board. And they start to accumulate points. Now, what we're looking at is how on time to quality is that manufacturer, right? So we have the telemetry from the machine. So I'm collecting data, and then we're semi-manually sending jobs to them. We're sending them Venmo, real cash. If they want USDC, doesn't matter. We've got multiple ways to send them money. They perform their job. We can see proof of print because we have the web camera, we have the telemetry of the machine. We know they print, and they deliver the product, right? So that's on the printer. On the printer side, there's capacity, and this is not just a home user problem. People that buy billions of dollars of equipment, it sits idle. The only way they can tell people about the capacity is, Facebook ads, Google ads, $10 an acquisition, trade shows, websites, right? In our case, the machines broadcast. You can see them live. So that's how we're going to make it efficient, and you can make money if you have a printing node, right? In the beginning, we're just testing the points, understanding the balance, how to reward. Do we need to reward more printer owners? But then we want to be careful we not just have a bunch of printers, or do we actually want to reward is people that are going to soon launch in our marketplace, like really good designs. People have millions of followers, right? Real sales. Then we also have this kind of AI node agent that we've launched. And that is going to start looking at where are all the manufacturers locally, right? So we're using all this idle compute. And so that's another component. So we have indexing of all the capacity in the world. That's one way anyone can go on and start to contribute. We have printer owners, the people that actually make the stuff. And then we have another incentive model for people that are actually selling the stuff. And we'd rather have, instead of just one or two things sold, we want to attract and give more incentives to people that have a huge audience that want to sell, a million of these, a million of followers want to just download this, that they can do airdrops. And so we're going to start doing that with like the Solana phone case, Jambo, attachments, things like that, gaming, Animoco, it's a partner. We're going to be sending avatars, everything digital to physical. So there's three components that are coming together. And we have right now the 3D printers that you can get online. We start to see build up quality scores. We have the AI node agent type download. That's another way. And inside of there, there's incentives for also helping grow the network. We want to give everyone a piece of this company. If Amazon started with giving everyone equity, if they're on the buy or sell side, it would have exploded, right? That's the benefit of DePIN. You see HiveMapper, they're able to, get it, with $18.5 million investment, they're able to do what Google took billions of dollars, right? They don't have their own car. So that's what I call the DePIN cake. You can set those success mechanisms into the design of the ecosystem. Everyone can share in the upside of building that network. And then there's transactionals, right? And ultimately, these printer owners are gonna have to stake, right? In the beginning, it's kind of freemium, get them online, but ultimately it'll be it'll be so inexpensive for them to broadcast capacity because they're spending $200 minimum to acquire one client with Google Ads. $10, $20 a click, 20 clicks in. So that's kind of the grand plan. There's multiple areas people can help, and then we'll slowly start opening up other capacity and other types of supply and demand. Basically, think of it open source, right? 3D printer, replace that with CNC, water jet.
I
Who
think
knows
John
what future.
highlighted one of the most important thing is that revenue is so undermined, and I'm sure that Daniel has a few words to see. Why, I don't know why the DePIN projects are not coming out of speculation and creating silos of demand and supply, right? Because I think revenue generation sometimes, so when like it's really, so I onboarded one luxurious retail, okay, and that actually gave me an order which is $300,000 every month. It's a very tiny retail which is selling $300,000 for the farmers, right? But the questions I always receive is when TGE, when the token, when other things, rather than looking into the revenue we are generating for the farmers, right? And same goes with right now the orders we have is 4,000 tons of coffee, right? And these are massive orders that requires a lot of procurement from farmers. Almost all the farmers we are engaged with will be happy because their products are sold at a better price. Okay, I think revenue, we should treat DePIN projects as typical Web2 projects that intention is to generate revenue. Daniel want to add something into it. I'm sure that you are itching to answer this.
Well, I think John said it well. I think ultimately we need to think about that revenue generation from the outset and get away from the speculatory features of the asset. The other thing is do you need to create an entirely new project for a technology that's already being built 2 or 3 times over? I think we're going to start getting to the point where you have Microsoft operating system, but then you have the Adobes, the other suites that are built inside of that. So, a lot of times people build it without the general knowledge of what a utility-based asset really should do. And again, this goes back to the maturity of the space. Disruptive technology, not always senior leaders who think long-term in vision. It used to be the cypherpunks that were controlling, the blockchain ecosystems, the crypto ecosystems. And then it's progressively the disruptors, which is us, were disrupted by legacy finance, legacy technology. So, bottom line is I do think you really need to look at all facets of your project and see very early on how you can build revenue generation models on that without the speculatory nature of what you're doing. So, yeah, I agree with what John said. I think that, this is a really pivotal point for DePIN because we don't want to go down the same road where it's a meme coin style. I added DePIN to my project. Now all of a sudden I'm DePIN. Because I think moving forward, we're going to see a high focus, legitimately high focus. And I think one of the guys mentioned this, it might have been John, about the meeting they had, with other DePIN providers. We're getting to the point where people are going to we have a retail exhaustion at this point. There's 3.2 million cryptos out there. None of them other than let's say a few hundred of those are really legitimate projects that are bringing revenue to the space. If Flux was able to VC raise, which we're not because we built it that way, we wanted to make sure the community was the ones that built the project out, and that's exactly what they did. If we took a VC raise, I've had VCs on the phone offering millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to be, to have some level of exposure to Flux. And what I always tell them is, I'd love to help you out, bro, but you're going to have to go buy the asset because that's the only way you're really going to get exposure to the ecosystem overall. And I think if all of us in the DePIN space think about that, what's the value add I can bring to my project? And, raising tide lifts all boats. And if you create demand for your asset, if you've built an infrastructure that generates that utility, then all of a sudden you become a very viable option, not only in the Web3 space, but in the Web2 space. And that really is the wall we need to break down. How do we get Web2 to Web3 effectively, efficiently, and we don't snow them with a bunch of shit? We actually show them a project that's going to fix their needs.
A shout out to Emil who might be listening this live. And when I refused the VC investment, you were part of it. Precisely, this is the reason. And I know it is always complicated to explain why we say no to certain things, but there are tons of reasons why we refuse. And so shout out, Emil. Now you know you got the answer. Look, Daniel has validated that. So one of the project which I have observed very closely that has actually cracked the demand side is Wingbits. Wingbits has done a decent level of demand, primarily because there are a lot of airlines that are buying their data, the airports that are buying their data, and hence they have stayed out of that speculation line as much as I know, and very easy for people to buy. Of course, you need to first book your slot, which is if you are closer to the airport and all, that's going to be a better one. By the way, all the projects we are highlighting, I am no way associated with them, and I'm no way an investor. So, and just highlighting so you guys can go and do the research and see if you have opportunities to get involved. DePIN throws a lot of opportunities for you guys. So yes, Astrid want to highlight some of the specific project if you want. If not, then we would be moving to, why you guys are telling me we are over time? Okay, always these guys. Okay. Guys, we are over time, so let's get into some of the parting thoughts. I really loved the conversation with you guys, especially John and Daniel highlighted some of the most important things, and then I know the guys from Crank, they are so vital cog to these multi-mining opportunities. So as Astrid's project to you, you guys are building a lot, and I have seen a lot of support in Southeast Asia for you guys. And wherever I go, they ask like, "Are you building in UTU or not?" Like, okay, we're very soon coming there, so don't worry about it. So we are a young ecosystem. We will keep building, but the priority is, as I said, that always revenue generation so that we can serve our farmers better. And because we are optimizing the center for them and we have multiple facets to bring a lot of income stream for them, that is the focus at the moment, and we will keep building. So parting thoughts, John, Daniel, please take the mic. Anyone, please go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll go.
Okay.
No, thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I think this is very thought provoking. We've heard some really amazing folks that are really on the precipice of something great within DePIN. And I think if I'm going to address the users out there, make sure you do your due diligence on any project. These are rock solid projects, but there's a lot of them out there that are claiming to be DePIN and they're not necessarily DePIN. Look into not only the technicals of it, so actually research these things. And by the way, guys, this is how the stock market has been for years, right? As people invest, most people will go, and if they're going to buy a car, they'll read everything about that car. They'll be down, okay, this is the car I want, this is the model I want, this is the options I want. We spend umpteen times, and we spend a fraction of that when we invest into different projects. And we've got to get away from that. And that's part of the education from us as founders to work with the retail investors so that they are comfortable coming into the project. They feel like it's a technologically based project and not a vaporware or a shitcoin. So I think that's our job to really push that education. Find projects just like these guys and gals that are actually building something. They'll come on these spaces. They'll answer your questions. They'll be involved in the process, but ask the financial and technical questions immediately on the outset. And if you do that, DePIN's going to continue to keep growing. We're going to get a more rock solid community. We're going to get interchain operability across the board, and that's the holy land of blockchain. That's where we need to be.
Guys, the the big part of the story is you got to do your own research. And look, most of these guys who are here in this space are the leadership of their own project, right? They're coming here to answer your question.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we stop this short-term thinking, think long-term, right? What problem is this going to solve in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, right?
Yes.
So it's very important to understand that. I know in crypto, it's very like short-term. Let me get the business plan white paper, no fundamentals. And you see these same founders create a new company every 2 years. And then people wonder, like, what happened, right? Or they get a meme coin and they're like, what's happening? Well, you are the revenue. So you have to understand, like, does this have a sustainable future? Okay, things can have bumps. Even Amazon had bumps, but is it
Long
going up
term.
and to the right? So you need to think long term. It's very difficult for the crypto crowd because I think we've got excited about quick gains, Shiba Inu. Look, I was in on those coins as well. And like I was like, wow, put in $500 and it turned to 20,000, right? I thought it was a genius, and I took that 20,000. I spent it on a lot of coins, and I went minus. So most of crypto is a casino, but there's some amazing technologies. Being able to send money at the speed of light, being able to support projects that you're excited about. Those are very amazing things. That whole ability for the entire world to contribute to something quickly and scalable is amazing. Now we need to think long term. I think that's my last kind of point for investors.
Beautiful thought, John. I think long-term sustainability, revenue generation, decentralization is some of the things you need to watch out for. And also watch out for these amazing founders, because end of the day, as John said, like, are you dealing with the right founders? And they are going to have a vision, and people coming together will fulfill that vision. And that's
I
what
think
the
also
story is
rules and
about.
regulations. So like the U.S., like to work here, we have to play by the book. We have our Three Dots Inc. and we'll have different entities, but I think that's going to be the future. So I think I'm not saying it's bad to gamble on the coins. That's fine, but you should have some long-term bets. Like my investors are all long-term bets. They've made their short-term bets. How many L2s, L1s can there be? But fundamentally, what problem are you solving, and where's this going in the future? And the regulations will be there. That's going to be healthy for the public. It's going to be healthy for the companies, and people that are lining up to really fit into that bucket are going to be far and few between.
Yeah, in either you are living a normal life and in between you are gambling, or you are gambling for life and in between you are looking long term. Choice is yours.
Very well, very wisely said. Yeah, very
Right.
wisely said.
Astrid, any parting thoughts?
Yeah, we are building the DePIN Alliance from last year on June, in June last year, and right now we are pushing hard to make it not just Southeast Asia but also the whole Asia, and we onboarding the council member and as an important BOD members, and then make it the commercialized version. Because like we are building hard for it, and we believe that we can have more people in the DePIN sector. So DePIN Alliance. And then we already has the SDK for the DePIN Hub. It's a one-stop shop for any DePIN project founders to do the one-click deployment on it, and we already have the output from the user base. So like the SDK, the alliance, the everything. We are not just the layer one who just did the TG. Now we have the whole ecosystem and one-stop shop solution for the DePIN sector. So like, welcome to join us as either the partners, console member, or like shaking hand for any integration for this year, because we are very ready for all those things. Thank you.
Guys, this is already recorded, so we will keep playing, and we'll also share all the Twitter handles of our participants and their website, so you can just do your own research. And last but not the least, let's hear from Crank team. What's your parting thought? You filled the big shoe very nicely today. So
Well, I wouldn't say so because we wanted to say some things, but John and Daniel, we can agree with you more. And when you mentioned the gateways that they're WeatherXM, that they're selling the gateway data network as well, that's very good. And actually in Crank, because most of the times when the people are looking for gateways, the users, they look at Facebook Marketplace because many other companies they just died that were producing gateways. I can only think now of Frac that is existing, and we are in the development of a shop where you can get used devices. It will be a great price. Actually, it will be opened with the software license. But anyway, enough of that. I think the DePIN is gonna grow, and we've mentioned this several times, by collaborating together. That's why we are also doing these X Spaces, like you are also doing these X Spaces, highlighting other projects and what they're doing, and actually valuable DePIN projects, real DePIN projects, not just some bullshits and some meme coins that are not gonna do anything good for the future. And that's the way we're gonna, because we're not in Web3, whatever we say, we're not in Web3, we're still sort of in Web2. The world isn't ready for it, and that's by us, all of us, the projects, we're doing these small steps to deliver Web3 to the world.
Definitely. And again, as Daniel and John said, like it is about the problem you're solving, and you should really be looking into the future about it. Like people should really try to understand the problems that we as projects, as DePIN projects, are trying to solve, so that they can really understand what we are going for and why are we putting all these efforts and those developments and features around the project. It's not only about the price of the token. It's not only about the just the market cap of the project. It's about the problems that we're solving with the developments that we're bringing on. So thank you very much for having us tonight, and this space was great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
guys, if decentralization is key, as Daniel mentioned, we have a consensus, and
For sure.
that consensus is long term. Do your research, value generation, decentralization, and more importantly, build products that are actually useful. Okay, so thank you for joining us, guys. This is amazing, and we will hopefully we will pitch you guys in again. And all the best for your project, John, Daniel, Astrid, Alex, Nikolai. You guys are amazing, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for your time.
Thank you.
Let's crank it up.
Have a great day.
Okay, have
Let's
a
grow.
nice
Let's